Welcome to the Child Anxiety FAQ podcast. FAQ stands for Frequently Asked Questions, and I'll be answering your questions about child and teen anxiety. My name is Dawn Friedman, and I have been working with kids and families for over 30 years as a preschool teacher, parent educator, family case manager, clinical counselor, and now as the facilitator of Child Anxiety Support, a program for parents of anxious kids. All right, let's get started. Hi, all. I was super excited for this week's question, which is there a way to help our child learn coping skills without them taking it as us trying to fix them? This was in response to a TikTok I posted about how we are not trying to fix our anxious children. We are trying to support them in being the wonderful individuals that they are. But this is such a great question, particularly because there are some kids who are not interested in learning coping skills, especially if we are the ones offering them. So I wanted to talk about those kinds of kids first. And these are kids who are resistant to our help and support. You would know if you have this kind of child if they are particularly private. Was this a child who doesn't want to talk about their feelings, who shuts you down when you reach out to them, who digs in their heels even a little more when you try to reach out to them? An example would be a child who is clearly upset and you ask them what's wrong and they get angry with you. They tell you they don't want to talk about it, or they just sullenly say nothing. This is a child who, when you try to help, it makes things worse. Maybe they freak out and yell at you. Maybe they say, "Leave me alone." This is a child who you are going to have to figure out how to support in ways that are respectful of their need for privacy. So we're going to talk about that child first. And for that child, the best thing you can do is nothing. Leave them alone. Believe them when they say, "I don't want your help." However, you can start creating an environment that encourages help. I call it loading the environment. When I was working clinically with kids, what I would do is set up my playroom with a kind of eye to a theme. If I had a child who I knew was struggling with a particular issue, let's say a child who was worried about an upcoming medical procedure, then I would very casually make sure that in my therapy space were the kinds of things a child worried about medical procedures might be drawn to. So that might be in my Playmobil pile of toys. I'd make sure there was a doctor's office or medical tools. I had a Playmobil veterinary set because sometimes kids would be willing to talk about medical procedures when it was kind of distance from them. They might be able to play it out with a dog, but wouldn't want to play it out with a little figure of a person. I might have a doctor's kit. I wouldn't tell them, "I want you to play with these things." They would just be there. That would invite them to share. Sometimes it would work and the kid would go pick up the doctor's kit and start playing out what they were concerned about. Sometimes they would see the doctor's kit and they would bring it up themselves without going towards the doctor's kit. And sometimes it didn't work at all and they found other ways to process their anxiety around that particular event. But the important part is that I created that opportunity. The other thing is that you can take care of yourself, your worry about your child's worry, in ways that you want to model for them. For example, if you feel your child would be well served by doing some gross motor activity to get that anxiety out of their bodies, then you can say, "I am really stressed, so I am going to go for a run or I am going to go for a walk." You are letting them know that is one way we take care of our anxious bodies. You can invite them to go with you. "Do you want to keep me company or not?" You do not need to say to them, "You should go for a walk. I think it would help with your anxiety." You can just say, "I am going to go for a walk. I feel like it's going to help with my anxiety." That not only models appropriate ways to manage our anxiety, it models that everybody has anxiety sometimes. It also normalizes being a human, having anxiety, finding ways to take care of it. And again, you can do whatever you think might help your child. So if your child might be soothed by rocking or swinging, then you can say, I'm going to go swing because I noticed that swinging back and forth really calms me. I don't know about you, but that really calms me. You could say, I need a distraction tonight, so I'm going to listen to my favorite podcast or listen to music I like, if you think that would well serve your child. So finding out ways to help yourself is one way to offer that to children who do not want direct help. So that's one way for that particular child. But let's say you do have a child who is open to learning, then you can just stress, listen, we all need to take care of our anxiety. We all worry about events that are coming up, and we need to know, how do I tolerate how yucky it feels? So we can just say that to them that directly. You're not saying you're anxious and you need to stop being anxious, because they don't need to be fixed. You're saying you're a sensitive person, and so you feel anxiety. And one of your jobs in growing up is going to be figuring out how to manage that, just like it is for all of us. That is language I use a lot with kids that I work with. I encourage parents to use that with their kids, which is, it is normal to be struggling with this. You will get better at it as you grow older, just like you learn to tie your shoes, just like you learn to ride a bike, just like you learn to make your bed. Insert whatever they've learned recently here. You will learn every day better and better how to manage your anxiety. So we're normalizing anxiety as a human experience. We're normalizing that we all need to learn skills to manage that very human experience. And importantly, we're normalizing the idea that things will improve, that they will continue to grow. I hope that's helpful, particularly if you do have that kind of child who is resistant and reluctant. I had one kid like that and one kid who loved help. And it was, I gotta say, it was easier to help the one who liked help. But it was an interesting exercise for me, also someone who does not particularly like help, to figure out how to do that. And in figuring out how to do that, it also helped me learn how to be a person who is open to getting some help when I need it. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you have a question you'd like me to address on the show, please go to childanxietysupport.com/question and you can post it there. Maybe I'll address it on a future episode. And if you'd like to learn more about my program, you can visit childanxietysupport.com. Thanks so much and have a great week.